real seat when you get older. It's kind of hard to sit on your whatever. Okay, my name is Mainta. I'm one of the volunteers here at the observatory. How many people have not been here before? You. That's pretty good. Let me give you a 2-minute introduction to the observatory for the newbies here. Little Thompson Observatory is an all-volunteer observatory that basically teaches our visitors not to be afraid of physics, math, science, especially the K-12 crowd, the hard part in school. And so what we do is we use astronomy as a teaching tool. You notice we're not on top of a mountain. Makes it a little easier to get to us. So I'm proud to say we're not nerdy astronomers. So if you came to see nerdy astronomy stuff, you're not in the right place here. But anyway, tonight we have a very special night here at the observatory. We for a couple of years we've worked on our Lakota mural, our constellation wall, to kind of show you a difference between different cultures and their constellations, their mythology, their religion. So we have the Greek-Roman ones, we have the Lakota. And if you go to China, you go to Japan, any old culture in the world has their own picture in the sky. Basically, connect the dots a little differently, have different stories, different religion, different mythology to go with it. And tonight we want to celebrate the Native American Indian star wall here with a fairly elaborate ceremony. You can see we don't have a lot of space here, but hopefully we can all get through the evening here easily. And we're going to introduce James Polster. He is the director of the High Plains Environmental Center in Loveland, and he is going to lead tonight. He's going to do a presentation on the Lakota Sioux constellations, and he's going to introduce our guests of the evening. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tom. You want to say anything? No. We have our mayor here, so as one chief to the other chief, the other say a few things.
Well, Bertha is justly proud of this facility, and we built it about 12 years ago.
Yes.
Seems like yesterday. So this was once raw dirt, and we just had a dream. We sold the whole building to the school district for $1. And it has fulfilled its promise, because we have how many people having gone through this facility already?
In December, we expect our 50,000th visitor.
Wow.
Most of them being students. I'll tell you a quick story. We had tremendous difficulty in getting the foundation right. Everything has to be completely separate from the telescopes to this dwelling. So if you're pounding on this floor, nothing transmits to that telescope. Separate. As I went into and out of that foundation engineering in Loveland, a gentleman whose name was also Patterson, no relation, I was treated like a king each time. He dropped what he was doing, he grabbed his head chief engineer, and we poured over the plans until we got what would work, that we could afford. And finally I said to him, Kevin, why are you doing this? I am deeply gratified, but what motivates you? And he said, when he was in high school, he was your typical druggie. Had it not been for an interest piqued by science, in particular astronomy, he didn't think he would have ever amounted to a thing. So it is that kind of a charge that we have that our volunteers have so incredibly fueled that probably has repercussions we don't even know about. Just a great thing to be a part of. So we're grateful you could all come tonight. It's a marvelous facility, beautifully run by very selfless, good people. Particularly now, having grown up in Montana, you we were never far from a reservation. I basically grew up around American Indians of different tribes. So this is a very near and dear thing to us tonight. And Sam, we're so grateful that you could be here and be with us as a Lakota shaman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, and it's a great privilege and an honor for me to be able to help bring the culture that inspired this Lakota Star Wall and really help bring this vision to life for everyone here at the observatory. And I'm very pleased to introduce my friend and teacher, Sam Mooskamp, and his wife, Eileen Mooskamp, and the singers who are part of Sam's Tioshpae and the part of the Denver Native American community. And Sam has asked that we begin with a spiritual song that's a prayer to the four directions. acknowledgement to Ronald Goodman, who collected this information from a number of Lakota elders. And this information about Lakota star knowledge is not something that has been known by a great many people up until very, very recent history. If you look at books about Lakota and Native Americans in general, you won't see this information. This is something that has really just been brought forward very recently, and also through the Sintegleshka University in Rosebud, South Dakota. So I just wanted to give acknowledgement to them for making this information that's up here on this star wall available to all of us. I want to begin just by talking about the land that where we all live. You know, this Colorado's Front Range is the shortgrass prairie, and this is one of the most compromised ecosystems in North America. There's a lot of damage has been done to this ecosystem, and one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is the relationship between the language and cultures of the land itself and maintaining harmony and well-being with the land. Just a little bit about how this area has been altered since 1491. Around 1900, anthropologists thought that there were probably around 2 million Native Americans in 1491. More recently, archaeologists have discovered huge amounts of skeletons in areas that indicate that the Native American population was probably closer to 20 to 80 million people. And if you've ever read the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, you know that European diseases were devastating to the populations of indigenous people here in North America. Also, the bison, 30 million animals in 1491. Today, there's little more than 500,000. The black-tailed prairie dog, which we see all up and down the Front Range, and we still talk about infestations of this animal, even though their population has been reduced by 98%, from approximately 5 billion animals to around 25 million. So we have radically, and when I say we, I mean European Americans like myself, have radically altered this environment. And Native people all over talk about the original instructions. They say that the Creator gave original instructions to people, and indigenous people around the world say that they were given instructions about how to live on the land that they inhabited. Indigenous cultures and languages are essential to the preservation of the landscapes that shape them. So as we're talking about the Lakota star knowledge, we'll see that people actually, through their knowledge of the stars, balance the environment. And a much more eloquent way of saying this is, as Chief Seattle said in 1854, even the rocks which seem to lie dumb as they swelter in the sun along the silent shore in solemn grandeur, thrill with the memories of past events connected with the fate of my people. The very dust under your feet responds more lovingly to our footsteps than to yours, because it is the ashes of our ancestors, and our bare feet are conscious of the sympathetic touch, for the soil is rich with the life of my kindred. An important point here is if you see the land as the flesh of your ancestors, it won't allow you to do certain things, and it will compel you to do others. And the things it compels you to do is to care for the land and pass it on so you can be a good ancestor to future generations. And so a disconnect happened when European Americans inhabited this continent. So always cultures of human beings have looked up from the chaotic world that human beings inhabited to the night sky and seen a sense of order and purity in the sky above. And in the next slide, you see this quote up here that is often connected with the Lakota star knowledge, that what is on the earth is in the sky, and what is in the sky is on the earth. So we see lessons reflected in the sky about how human beings are intended to live here on the earth. The other thing that the Lakota people saw is actually a map of their land reflected in the sky, and in looking at that map, it told them where to be and when to be at certain places for hunting and migration and for ceremonies. They watched the sky, and the sky was like a cosmic clock that told them where to go and what to do at different stages of the year. Just want to go back a little bit to European history. You've all heard of Stonehenge, but before they had Stonehenge, they just had pillars of wood in the ground like this. And ancient people in European cultures used these in much the same way to track the movement of stars and seasons and so on. And from that, you can click forward, Mike. From that, they developed an incredible technology to be able to create places like Newgrange in County Meath, Ireland. This is a place where a shaft of light shines down a 22-foot chamber at the winter solstice. And it took an incredible knowledge of the movement of the sun in order to be able to create this. Beyond that, their knowledge of astronomy and the sites that they created were reflected in the landscape and were set out in a certain pattern on the land. Here, the figure of Orion is throughout the Boyne Valley in County Meath. But the thing about all of this, these are pictures that I took in my travels to this area, but there's no living human being who can really tell you what these people were doing and what this meant to them, or even what they did at these sites at these times of the year. The Lakota star knowledge is an unbroken living tradition. So by direct contact with the people who have kept this alive for thousands of years, and we're going to look at the star knowledge itself to be able to date how old that oral history is. But this is an unbroken lineage that we actually can know what people were thinking thousands of years ago here on this land through this star knowledge. So here we have a map of the winter circle. And we have up here Capella, Aldebaran, and the Pleiades over here. Orion, Betelgeuse here, Rigel, Sirius, Procyon, and Pollux and Castor. And this creates the winter circle. And most of the star knowledge I'm going to be talking about takes place within this area called the winter circle. The Lakota people see the winter circle as actually being this area right here, the Black Hills in South Dakota. So the winter circle and the Black Hills in South Dakota are one and the same. And what you can see in the winter circle, you can see in the Black Hills and vice versa. In the photograph that we just saw, you can see that there's a red track all around the Black Hills, and it's created, they say, it's the race track, Ki Ianka Ochanku. It's the animals at one point, when the human beings had caused this great imbalance through their arrogance and greed and stupidity, they created an imbalance that almost destroyed the world. And the four-legged animals said that human beings should be stopped now. While their numbers are small, they just cause too many problems. But the winged beings, the birds, had pity on human beings because they have two legs and they felt akin to to us in a way. So they had a race around the Black Hills, and the buffalo is the most powerful animal. So he was winning, but the magpie is the most clever and hid in the buffalo's mane, and at the last moment flew over the finish line. So humanity owes its existence to this bird. So the sites that we're going to see, basically traveling on a journey across like this. So this is this area here is Triangulum and Aries, the Pleiades, and then this here is Gemini. And we're going to see how, as the sun passed through each of these, that people would also go to the same place. When I say that, basically, you know, when people say the sun is in Aries, it means that when the sun is rising, the constellation of Aries is right there at the point of on the horizon. So ancient people watched for that to happen, and when they saw that, they would go to certain places and do certain things. I also want to mention this here. This doesn't particularly have to do with the migration, but it's seen as a gigantic animal called Tyamni. And this is the head of that animal, or Tyamni Pa. And this is the ribs right here, the belt of Orion. And then Rigel and Betelgeuse are like the arms, or like the legs of the animal. And then Sirius is the tail, Tyamni Sinte. And there's a picture further on where you'll see this exact landform in the Black Hills. So it begins in the winter camps along the North Platte River. This is the place that the Oglala Sioux tribe has inherited for thousands of years. And Fort Laramie is in that area. So in the winter, people would be close to the river where there would be fresh water, and they would have the hills, the south-facing hills behind them, which would be a warmer place to camp. And it begins there approximately, the cycle begins approximately around the vernal equinox, around March 20th or March 21st. And what people would see is the sun in the constellation of Aries. And Aries and Triangulum together create what the Lakota called Chanshasha Ipusie, which means a dried willow bark. And this is the Cornus stolonifera, the red twig dogwood. And that's what people would dry to smoke. And by way of representation, the dried willow bark represents the sacred pipe, which is how this is the instrument used by the Lakota to communicate with the spiritual world. So the sun getting closer and closer to that red willow represented a cosmic pipe ceremony. That was the beginning of this ritual migration. And in order for the Lakota people to observe Aries, the sun in Aries, at the winter or at the spring equinox, it would place this oral tradition at about 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. So that's how long this, or at least that long, is how this migration and cycle of ceremonies has been going on. The next thing was the Yate Awichi Chipi, sorry, what is it, Sam? Awaki Chipi. And that's the welcoming back the thunder. The red willow is always cut before the thunder comes. And if you live in South Dakota or on the prairie, when thunder comes around, it wakes up the land, everything begins to grow. And this is a power that you feel when you're on the prairie in any time in the summer. You see the whole sky vibrates with lightning. And if you're ever out on the prairie, just as a human being away from your car and with nothing, and you're in a lightning storm, you'll realize how tiny we human beings actually are. And this is connected with this place called Harney Peak. If you ever read Black Elk Speaks, the book ends at Harney Peak, where Black Elk in his vision saw this as the center of the universe. And this is seen as being connected with the Pleiades. The Pleiades, Wichinchila Shakoin, means the 7 young girls. The story about that is there was a boy, a sacred boy, who came to Earth. His mother fell down to Earth and was killed by the fall. But he was born and he was raised by the meadowlark. Because the meadowlark speaks the Lakota language, he learned all about the language and the culture. And he grew miraculously and grew up fast. And he went around and he performed all kinds of miracles, and he created a relationship with the star people. And one of the things that he did is he took the spirits of those, there was an eagle that was coming down from that mountain and was taking girls away from the village, and had taken 7 little girls away. And this fallen star took the spirits of those girls and he put them up in the stars for safekeeping. Go back one. Then the next place is this is called Peshla. It's like a bare place in the center of the Black Hills. And this is the next place that people went on that migration. And if you go to the next slide, another occurrence that Lakota people saw around 1054, this Crab Nebula was created from a supernova. Is that right, Andrea? Yeah, supernova happened, and this was created. And if you look where it is in the sky, again, this occurred within the map of the Black Hills within the winter circle. So this is something, if you're looking at the night sky and it represents landforms and places that you know, and you see something like that happen, you're going to go there and be curious of what that's about. And this is approximately in that same area as Peshla, which is a big prairie in the middle of the Black Hills. And you can see that spot right there. Remember we talked also about that Tyamni, that thing that kind of looks like a big lizard or something? You can see exactly the shape of it right here in the Black Hills. So this is like a Google Earth picture looking down on the Black Hills, and you can see that shape is there. Another one of these stories, and a lot of the stories about the stars give, as I was saying, moral and ethical lessons about how people should live. And the worst sin in Native culture is not to share or to be greedy. So people always, if somebody killed an animal, they would share it with everybody. They would, they wouldn't just hoard things for themselves. That would be the worst thing you could do. But a chief who was greedy and wouldn't give freely to the people, in order to teach him a lesson, his arm was taken away, and that arm is represented by this, what we commonly call Orion. The Lakota call Nape, which is a hand. So it looks like a human hand. This is the wrist, and these are the fingers. And every year we see that hand is taken away, and then later on it's given back again. So the story that goes with this is, again, Fallen Star went to this village where the chief's hand had been, or arm had been taken away as a punishment by the spirits, and that he had to go and find that arm and bring it back through great sacrifice. And go ahead, go to the next. And that brings us to this next site. And this is around June 21st, people would gather at, it's called the Devil's Tower. The Lakota name is Matho-Tipila, the Bear's Lodge. And they say that some children were chased by a bear, and then and the bear was running after them, and they started to pray, and the land rose up in order to protect them, and the angry bear scratched his claws to make this shape. But it's also in another way of looking at it is as a buffalo horn. So that's connected with Pollux and Castor, or the constellation Gemini. So you can see like people starting here for March 21st, where the sun is in Aries, moving across basically through the Pleiades, representing the Harney Peak and the Black Hills, and then ending up here at Matho-Tipila, or the Devil's Tower. And then after that, people broke up and spread all through the plains west of the Black Hills and did their summer hunt, gathering the buffalo meat to store for the winter. So the gathering at the Sundance was basically like that story where people had to go through sacrifice in order to bring back the young girl in the story. Was like the beauty and the freshness of the earth, the abundance of the earth, but they had to sacrifice for that so that life could continue. And this parfletch here, which is like a rawhide suitcase that people pack their goods in for traveling, often has this kind of hourglass shape on it. And this is thought to be the shape of a star, but it's not just flat and one-dimensional like that. It's actually like two cones coming together, and that also represents the prayers of the sun dancers rising up, and then blessings coming down. And you can see in the middle here the form of a teepee where the Lakota people live. They're actually living within the model of all this sacredness that we're talking about, what these things that are going up to the sky and coming down. So actually their homes themselves were sacred, and were represented a star, and also were like a model of the universe. So all that was represented within each individual home. And the word, go back a second. The word for a star, if you look up at the stars, the Lakota word is Wichafti, which means the flesh of men. So it means that's what we are, that's what we come from, and that's what we're made out of. And then this is a well-known constellation, the Big Dipper, and they say that at one time, you can see up on the wall here, it has that shows if you look at the mural on the wall, shows a place where there's a star missing, and they say once there was a star there, now there's kind of a hole, and that when a baby is born, their spirit comes from that area, and then when they die, they go back that way again. And where they travel is to Chanku Wanagi, the Milky Way. So that's the path that the dead travel. And part of this is a lesson that we human beings don't live very long. Our lifespan is quite short, and so living in the spiritual way and in balance with your people, your community, and also the natural world is leaving behind something good. And there's we just have one more slide, which is a quote from Chief Red Cloud, who said, "Let us put our hearts and minds together and see what kind of future we can make for our children. And so, hopefully, understanding more about the Lakota Star knowledge, we can all leave with this in mind, you know, and think about trying to pass something good on to the next generation. And also, you know, I personally have a commitment to trying to help my friends and my relatives at Pine Ridge and in other Native communities, because it's not just through some kind of charity, but actually we need these things. And these are things that we need to know. You know, we're coming to a point in our life, you know, I was talking about the scoldings. The human beings went through this. They created an imbalance before. They almost destroyed things. And you can see we're doing that again. And so we need to put our minds right and think about what we can do to create a good world, so that so we can leave the world in a good way and feel good about what future generations are going to inherit from us. So that concludes the STAR presentation portion of this. Yeah, and Sam, did you want to say anything? Or?
Said it all.
Yeah, I said it all. One thing that we want to do, yeah.
I just want to share how I got my bondage to represent my people. I went to a meeting in Eagle Butte. All the tribes came there. And they were all saying, no white people allowed in our way of life. When I was young, very young, I grew up with ceremony. All my grandfather went to Washington and performed ceremonies for the president, Congress. So he was the first one to get a license to do ceremonies in the real life. His name was Lakota, and from there, his boys, and it came down to me and my little brother. So, he told me a story one time about prayer, and that's what they were arguing about. No whites allowed, whites can't do this, whites can't do that. When I was young, there used to be a white man and his wife would come every summer and would go up on the hill and pray and do the business stuff. And one day he became holy. He became a holy man, like that. He closed his eyes and his face. And when he opened them and he saw you, he would say something. And him and my grandpa was sitting in the shade. He got that way, closed his eyes, his face. Opened his eyes, told my grandfather, Crazy always wants a ceremony. So my grandfather said, okay, we'll do that. So my dad and my uncle would go powwow, and they saddled up and they would go powwow. And then it worked. Man said, Crazy was no ceremony. He just turned the down and he's looking at the altar and looking at the flag, bracket ties. A lot of people came like this. He was around that. So, part of that. I was happy when somebody could do something back then when the other party. So they put him in the middle, looking at it real good. You know, he said, closed his eyes and took it in. And he said, looked at my grandpa. Pedro said, you gotta run it. So I shared this story with the tribe, the people that were attending, no way people were loud. My grandfather said then, we have the same heart. You know? So when I told him that story, now it's okay. They all learn. Now they can pray with me, you know, and we can all get along. And that's how I got my. I said, isn't it one good deed and it's a good one? And then I try to place that bond on me. But I don't consider myself a thief. But I try to help people wherever I go. And I want to share that story with all these people here so you realize we have the same heart. You know, there's no sense trying to be bigger than each other. You know. If it come down to nitty-gritty, I'll probably say that too. So in that way, you know, I just want you to know that, you know, I pray with you. And I'm sitting down with my friend there. All these guys that I've been playing with them for years. And they're respected back home. We do it the old way, no food and water. And the morning star, no one mentioned it. The morning star, for all of us here, all nations, they don't know it. That's our altar on the earth. That's our connection. So remember that when you pray. Pray with the morning star. You get the help you want. So you don't have to do it. The way I learned, there's no holy man and no sacred man on earth. We're all equal. So when they call me holy man, oh, I'm that. we're all, you know, my grandpa said, well, they know me. Well, what's sacred? What's the good one? You know, that's our altar down here. So when you build that altar, that's the example of the morning. I think you have it in your Bible too. So these things, that's how I was recognized back then. And here's the part that was the how I made to put the bonnet on me. The thankfulness, the ground, guilty. In the corner was a stuffed buffalo. You know how you stuff those guys? He was in the corner. So when we were dancing, then he danced too. I mean, he's stuffed. How can he dance? You know? Well, he was moving. When we got done, the old people who were pros at it, because that's first, we had a lot of ceremonies, but that's the first time we've seen something like that. And their name is the Good Omen. What is that, the Good Omen? Well, anyway, that's what they said I was, a good omen. And so they all came to thank me for the there's no disaster. That's just culture. And that's why we need it. So we just go ahead. Come on. In our way, sometimes we adopt it in the world. And we lose the son. We might adopt him. And I adopt him. And he's good. Stand. That's our way of life. I just want to share that with all of you tonight. My brother did a good job.
Did anybody have any questions about anything before we move on to the next thing? Yeah.
I'm interested in comparing the constellations and mythology between American groups of Native people and European ones. And I was wondering if there was a reference or something where I could go and find, names of the constellations of the Lakotas and or anything of that sort.
So the only source that you'll find is this book by Ronald Goodman, the Lakota Star Knowledge, and it's hard to get. It's frequently out of print. It's in Hagleshka University in Rosebud. Yeah. So that's where you should look. Anyone else? Yes, Andrew.
I'm just curious if I had anything that you would like to share.
Oh, that part, yeah. I'll share that with all you girls here, all young ladies, all you women. In our way of life, the women are the bosses. Very good. The women are the boss of life. You bring life. You give us life. So, my prayer, you will hold your life so precious. Back me up. Okay? For her prayer is the one that listens to, not mine. But she helps you, but when she helps you, you keep your prayer. And that's the one that's really with you. So all you really remember that. And it's time to shut my mouth. I will. Yes. But because of you, we're here. All of us. We're here. Give us life. That's why we hold the religion that way. And I'm telling you, you hold it. You support that man. That's why I can tell you. You support it. And you realize what you gave me. Life. And it's going to support you. So that's how really my grandfather taught always respect the women. Because they gave us life. They were the sacred breath. So, you can tell me that you ready.
Yeah. Anyone else? Have any questions or comments? So what we wanted to do next then is have the singers sing some more, and maybe you guys if you move the away from that a little bit. And the thing that I've noticed for years and years growing up to Indian country is in the conventional world we shake hands and it's just a thing we do without even thinking about it. But in in Indian culture, shaking hands is a different kind of thing. It's like there's some kind of connection takes place. It's just more meaningful. And so I want to give everybody a chance to kind of come up and walk by the singers and look at the star wall and just maybe shake my hand and Sam's hand. And it's going to be a little hard to do since it's extremely full room, but we kind of go in a clockwise direction and people just kind of want to walk through and look at the wall here and just kind of enjoy these guys' songs. So we just kind of start here. People want to walk up.
Oh, yes, certainly. One more comment here. Donna, you want to stand up? Donna is the one who finished the whole constellation, the whole painting. She has worked for many, many weeks on this, probably several months on this whole mural, and it really looks fantastic. As you can see, we have some black lights on it now, so it kind of starts to glow.
Psychedelic.
Yeah. Yes. So after you guys tour and look at the singers and look at the wall, listen to the music, the telescope is up and running. It's fairly clear still, so if you want to not stay in this warm, hot room, you can go upstairs and see the telescope or get a breath of fresh air outside. And if you leave here and you like what we're doing here, there's a little donation box at the back door. You can always use a little support here to keep the lights on and do these fun programs. Thank you.
I just want to add one more thing. You know, the point of coming up and walking by and shaking hands and listening to the singers and looking at this is a sense of creating some relationship that, you know, Monica and I were talking about this earlier. Hopefully this will be ongoing, you know, so that maybe maybe the Little Thompson Observatory could go up to Pine Ridge sometime and help people up there to they don't have this up there. So, you know, hopefully we're creating a relationship that will grow into more. So, please.
Hey, try to keep the beat, cut the speed up. So what you want to do is, I got a short stick, so I gotta hold it low. So what you want to do is, they hold their thumb out. I don't do that. I hold my drumstick like this. But what you want to do is you want to bring your stick up higher, and it takes more time to get down. You know what I'm saying? So when you get down here like this, you gotta speed up. So when you're up here, it's a little slower. And you got a really long stick, so you want to back up a little bit and just rest your hand, your elbow, and rest your wrist on the knee. Y'all gotta learn somehow. Some of us sooner than others. Some of us learn the songs when we were kids. Some of us, we gotta pick it up. Doug's actually our best singer, which you'll never know.